Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking you through some of the books that I would like to read before the end of the year. So I have 4 months left, 4.5 months of reading time left, September, October, November and December, all to get through as many books as possible. And the thing is, when I was like thinking up books that I want to read before the end of the year, I was like, I want to read all of them, like the whole lot, the whole TBR, like the whole thing. I want to read it all, knowing that that is never going to be possible, not possible at all. So then I was like, how am I meant to make a list of books that I want to read before the end of the year when I want to read all of them? I have a list here of a few books that I would like to prioritise and get to before the end of the year. I did a series to read in 2021 video back in December, January time, and I've read 4 out of the 10 of those series, and I'm not sure if I'm going to read any more of them. So I feel like this is just going to be replacing that. It's updating it with not necessarily series that I'm going to be starting, because a lot of these are things that I want to finish, knowing that it's sort of, that list has sort of been moved aside. It's been replaced, it's been shoved. Like, I do still want to read those series, but I don't know if I'm going to be reading them right now. And then looking at what I'm currently reading and just thinking realistically, am I going to get to these before the end of the year? And I don't think I am. A lot of these are going to be finishing off the series, because that is what I always aim to do, always aim to finish what I start. And I'm just working through finishing lots and lots of series. So that is the main priority here, but I have a list of books that I own, some new releases and some, well, I guess they are technically new releases, but some ARCs that I have on Netgalley. So chatting through all of those, starting off with the ones that I own physically already. First one being Bitter Blue by Kristen Cashel. I'd like to finish this series. I know that this isn't technically the finale, like this was the finale for many years. This was the 3rd book, and then Winterkeep came out this year, but I think I might just stick to reading the original trilogy and have it as just the original trilogy and not really worry so much about if there's any new ones, because I was looking up Winterkeep and it seemed to have quite mixed reviews, so I just thought I would stick with this one and leave it as a trilogy. Unless I can be persuaded otherwise, but I think this will just remain as a trilogy for me. But then this would finish a series, I own it, and yeah, I'm excited to finish this trilogy. I'm also really excited to finish the Chronicles of Ixia series by Maria V. Snyder. I've been reading this throughout the year with my friend Vish and Sam. We've been reading roughly 1 book a month. It's made up, the Chronicles of Ixia is made up of 3 trilogies. So we have read the first 2 trilogies, and now this is the 3rd trilogy, which makes up the total of a 9-book series. So we just have these 3 to go. As I'm filming this, which is mid-August, I will be starting shadow study next week, when we have it scheduled in, and then we'd finish off reading this in October. But yes, I'm just excited to finish off this sort of journey that we've been on together. We've already been talking about where we want to go next, and which also what series we want to try next and buddy read together, because we definitely want to keep doing our buddy reads, but just figuring out where we go from after this Ixia journey. Other series that I own already that I would like to finish, I would like to finish the Serpent and Dove series. I have reread the 1st book now, so I'm ready to go into the 2nd book, and the 3rd book has recently come out, and so finishing it off. I don't own the 3rd book yet, but definitely getting to finish this series this year. And then a couple that I own that are not new series, that would be new to me series. I mean, there's probably a lot more in here that I would like to start. I mean, just looking at the shelves, I pretty much want to start all of them. Like, I would if I could. And I mean, I may, like, this is not a comprehensive list, because there's like 10 books on here maybe, and I'd hope to get to more than 10 books before the end of the year, hopefully. As for a couple of start with series, there is a read-along going on for The Lord of the Rings, so I would like to reread The Hobbit, The Fellowship of the Rings, and then actually finish, potentially, this. Because as a child, my father read me these books. So he read them aloud to me a chapter a night before I went to bed. It was our thing growing up, and we never finished. So I don't count this that I DNF'd the book. We just never finished. We just never got there. We never got to the end of these books. So we did read all of The Hobbit from this edition that's very delicate now. I have this to reread, and this one I feel like will be the easiest of the lot, seeing as this is published as a children's book. And so I don't have too many qualms about reading this. I don't really remember much of the reading experience. I remember the experience of it being read to me, but I don't necessarily remember the words of the story that was being read to me. I mean, I have watched all of the films, but I haven't seen them for many years now, so it's been quite a while. But I am definitely interested in seeing how I feel about reading these as an adult, and seeing how I feel on them, and like reflecting on my childhood experience of having them read to me, and then seeing them as an adult and seeing how I feel now, and also seeing if I can get past the bookmark. So this is in the middle, pretty much 600 pages into this edition, and so yeah, just very interested to see, well, I guess what happens next. I can't remember where we got up to. It doesn't look as though we finished in a chapter or anything, just somewhere in the middle of the two towers, but definitely interested to see how I would feel about reading this nowadays. And then the final of the books that I own is The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. This, I've been excited to read it all year. I put it on my 5-star prediction. It's the only book on my 5-star prediction video that I haven't read yet, so I'd like to be able to read this, and then I can like say that list is done, that we can reflect on whether these books were 5-star prediction, but were 5 stars or not, whether my predictions were correct, and I can make a new 5-star prediction video. But I'm just intrigued. I just feel like this book is going to be, I just looked at it and I feel like you were going to be a book for me. The only thing that I've like delayed holding it off is because it's a new series. The series isn't complete. The second book is coming out in a couple of months' time. But I believe it's going to be a trilogy, but I just feel like it's going to be for me. So those are some of the books that I own that I would like to get to. Moving into new releases that I definitely want to read when they are released, I have The Fall of Babel, which is the 4th book in the Senlin Ascends series by Josiah Bancroft. That's coming out in November. I'm really intrigued to get to that book. I have, unlike a lot of people, I have liked the Senlin Ascends books, but I haven't loved them. Like, they're not an all-time favourite. I think the second book was my favourite, and I gave that one 4 stars. The other ones have been from like a 3 to 4 star rating. So I'm definitely intrigued to see how it wraps up and whether I'm going to like it or not, because I'm it's not so I'm nervous for it, because it's not so I've loved the rest of the series. It's not so the rest of the series have been like 5 stars all-time favourites. But I'm not going in with expectations that I'm going to absolutely love it. But I would like to finish off the series and see how it all concludes. And then one I am really looking forward to, because I think it's going to be amazing, or I really hope it's going to be amazing, is Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. I recently read Jade War, absolutely loved it so much. So and I really liked Jade City, but I loved Jade War, so I'm just really excited to see what happens in Jade Legacy and seeing how the series wraps up, and just seeing what's going to happen to all the characters. I'm nervous for them, but yeah, that one I'm very excited to read. There are a couple of new releases that I'm really excited to read, but I don't know if I'm actually going to get to them this year, and whether I would delay reading them until there was a bit more time. Like, I don't know if I'm going to read them straight away. Those ones being Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson, and the reason I say that I want to delay potentially reading this, potentially, we'll see, maybe when it releases everyone's going to be talking about it and I'll be like, I want to read Cytonic. But I've read I've read Skyward and Starsight by him. Really liked them. I really loved this series by him. But it's been quite a while since I read those books, so I feel like I would want to reread, and so I could get the best experience out of Cytonic. But part of me just thinks maybe I just delay reading Cytonic completely until we get the 4th book in the series out, and then do a reread of those first 2 books, then read Cytonic, then read the 4th book, instead of reading Cytonic now with a foggy head. And the other one being The Bone Shard Emperor. I don't know whether I just want to not necessarily delay that indefinitely. I just want to maybe delay that a few months, and so it's not too long until the release of the 3rd book, which I'm assuming is going to be like next November time. But those are just a few books where I'm definitely going to buy them, I'm definitely going to want to read them, but I don't know if I'm going to read them straight away. And then a couple of the arcs that I have requested and need to get to, and when they're released. I've realised that quite a few of these are like September releases, so I definitely need to be reading these in October. So I have The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. I have read Deadly Education, which is the 1st book in this series, and I liked it, didn't love it, but I could see potential for where it was going to go, so I'm definitely interested to see where this book goes. So I have requested that. I have been approved, so definitely need to get to that. I have Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is by Stephanie Garber. I really liked the Caraval series. I know it's really divisive. Like, some people really hate that book, that series, and I'm like, I don't understand why, but okay. And so as I really liked that, I liked her writing style, I thought I would give her next book a try. I just feel like because I like the author's other books, I like this one. An author that I haven't read from is Margaret Owen, who has Little Thieves coming out. And this one is, I believe, a retelling of The Goose Girl. And I loved, growing up, and I've read this so many times, The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. And so I'm definitely up for reading more Goose Girl inspired fantasy stories. I believe it's a standalone, and yeah, I don't know, it just gives me, I just get a good vibe from it. And then the final one, which I don't actually know anything about, I think I just saw the cover and I was like, oh, this looks really pretty. And that's Midnight in the Everwood. And I don't know, I think it's a Nutcracker retelling, maybe, but I think it's going to be good. I don't know. Maybe that was a bit of a, not a spread, maybe that was a bit of like a rogue move on Netgalley getting that one, seeing as I don't really know anything about it, but we shall see. So those are definitely some books that I want to get to before the end of the year. Granted, I want to get to so many more than those. I want to get to so many books. I want to get to so many. There are so many books. Like, there's so many that I've not mentioned here that I would like to get to. And then even as I'm ending this, I'm realising that there's more books that I would like to get to, because I've just realised that I haven't put The Blackest Heart on this list, and that is the second book in the Forgetting Moon 5 Warrior Angels series. I definitely want to get to that because I loved the Forgetting Moon, loved it. So there's going to be so many more that I want to get to, but here's a not comprehensive list of books that I want to get to before the end of the year. Let me know what books you want to prioritise to read in the next 4 months. I mean, there's all this, like, there shouldn't be a deadline on when you read books, because reading's so fun. Like, it shouldn't be like you're going to get to the end of the year and these books are going to like self-combust or whatever. But there is this sort of thing where I'm like, it's going to be the end of the year, I want to like finish these books before I get there. I don't know why we have these like arbitrary goals or like regulations in our head for when we should read things. Let me know how you feel. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!